Coming up in the next episode. Didn't you threaten to burn his arm down?
Yeah.
And I open up the fridge. All that is in the fridge is, like...
You've got me on the edge of my fucking seat here.
The whole fridge is full of...
At night, we pull up to this house in the middle of nowhere, dodgy as fuck, and he's like, come around the back. And I was like, I'm going to get murdered.
He's turned round, headbutted Dan. Like, the whole bar is erupting.
Punches flying everywhere, chairs
snooker balls. It's just carnage. In the middle of Hong Kong, going around this airport with this old lady who I don't even know, just pushing her around. They let us on first. Oh, you're the grandson? And I'm just like, yeah. She's like kind of looking back at me, and I'm like...
I thought I had about $2,000 in my account. Went through the airport and I went into a cash machine where I could actually check my balance from Australia, and had
fucking hell. APMA, how we doing in this world of travel bans? I'm sure a lot of you are eager to get away, eager to go travel and go find yourselves on your gap years. Yeah?
gap years.
A lot of you guys have, ever since we've alluded to the fact that Dan and Jimmy spent an extended period of their lives in Australia, backpacking and such, have wanted us to do an episode where we dissect what went on, how you do it, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And that episode is today. So, this is going to be, this is a Dan and Jimmy special. Me and Lozzy are just going to throw questions in as and when, but ultimately we're here to hear the highlights of your Australia trip. So how do we want to rock this? Do we want to go from start to finish, or because obviously it's your experiences, you can share as much or as little as you want. So what do you want to start with?
Should I back that thing up, or should I push up on it?
Australia's not real.
Straight up. That's it. Follow the fish.
I don't mind starting, because I landed there.
You were there first, weren't you?
there first, yeah. I think maybe six months to a year before you.
I think
so. At least the first
6,
half
8
of this
months.
pod stands.
Yeah.
and then obviously we meet up and intertwine.
That's when it all...
Always
that's when the real magic.
That's when the fire
happened.
started.
Yeah. Oh, dude. See, when did I actually go there? It's like 2010.
Yeah.
So I'd saved. I've been doing some contract work for the American Army. I saved up about $5,000 to go, and I went via Thailand. So I'd booked my $5,000. I'd booked like a 4-week course in Thailand, which was like all my travel, visiting loads of different spots all around Thailand, up from like the south to the north. It was all my food and that included. But I had 6 weeks in Thailand, so I had a few weeks either side of it. So yeah, went on, didn't know anyone, just went up, flew to Thailand, sold, literally at that time, I was planning on not coming back to the UK. So I was like, I knew I was going to Australia after, and I was like, I'm just going to try and stay out there. So I sold everything I owned, literally every single object I owned. So I was 30 years old, sold everything, didn't have good credit at the time. I had like bad credit when I travelled out. So it was like all or nothing. Went to Thailand, did like my 4 weeks with the group there, which was really cool. Went to loads of different places. Then had 2 weeks after that where I just went on the piss a lot, like spunked a load of money. But I always thought I couldn't check my bank at the time. So the card I had was a top-up card. And I put $5,000 on this top-up card. And I couldn't check my balance. So I just kept sort of using it in Thailand. And then it came for my time to go to Australia. I went to Cambodia and some other places, or in Thailand as well, and obviously in Cambodia, to get my visas and stuff. Landed in Australia, flew into Brisbane, and I thought I had about $2,000 in my account. And then I remember getting in, went through the airport, and I went into a cash machine where I could actually check my balance from Australia, and it's about $80 to $90.
Fucking hell.
So bearing in mind, I'm landing there thinking, I want to come and live here. I've got a year's visa. I want to try and extend my visa. I've got 2 years, and I fucking landed with like $90. So I was like, fuck, like I'm really like in the shit.
Yeah.
So I landed in Brisbane. The first thing I did was went to like Backpackers and booked in for the night. I think it was like $30 or something. And I got chatting to a few people, and everyone was going out for the night. And I was like, I need to like try and get some more money because I don't know what I'm going to do. I need to get a job or something. So I was asking around. Went out with like these people and started asking all if I get a bar job. Started asking all the bars, and they were like, "But you needed can't remember what it's called, but in Australia you need like a little certificate to work in the bar." Do you remember what it's called?
I can't remember, but you have to do like a little course to like. You just do it online.
Yeah, it's not much. It's
the
like,
way they say it though, they're like, you know, you need your I-55. And in your head, you're just like,
oh my god,
fuck that.
It's literally like $80, piece of piss.
It's like if they just
RSA. That's it. You need your RSA.
Not so I-55, but fine.
Yeah, I was asking right, they were like, "Have you got your RSA?" There was work, but and I didn't have my RSA, and it was like it wasn't much. I think it was like 89, but I just didn't have the money, so. I remember going out and then like I met loads of group of cool people and I'd had like 2 drinks and then I was like I can't go out now. I have to make a decision, go back to the Backpackers on my own. Like the night's just getting going, everyone's having a laugh. Like it was a banging night out. And I just remember walking. I was like, I've got to go home. I walked away from the night out, like just as it was all like kicking off and starting to be really good. And I just was walking home thinking, fuck man, like this is horrible. Yeah. Went back to the Backpackers and just lay in my bed.
We had a lot of them nights.
I ran out of money. I ran out of money a lot. So basically, what I did then, I got up in the morning and my last bit of money, I booked from Brisbane. I booked a coach. I think it's called Greyhound. I booked a coach down to Sydney because I thought I was in Brisbane and like job wise there wasn't much going on. I thought Sydney's a bigger city, I'm bound to get more work there. So I bought this coach down to Sydney. Landed in Sydney, then I remember like phoned my dad. I give my dad about 300 quid because I had about 2 months, whatever date it was, just say it's February. In like April, I was booked to go on this farm and do some farm work, and it was all paid. Yeah. So I knew once I landed Australia, I had 2 months to go to farm. I get all my accommodation. Like I had work there, everything was sorted. And that costs like, I think I put down 300 or quid or something towards them, $300, and I had about 300 that I give to my dad to pay when I got there. And I was like, I need that money. I need that 300 quid. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I've got no more money. Like, can you? So it was my money. So he transferred it over, and then I looked all around Sydney. I was panicking, just couldn't get a job anywhere. And then I managed to log on to this like weird recruitment thing, and there was 2 jobs. There was one like in Darwin as a pizza guy doing pizzas, and I'd phoned them up, and they were like, "You don't need experience. Like it's a bit in the middle of nowhere. Like you're happy to come up." I was like, "Yeah, I'll come up. Don't mind." And then phoned this other one. This guy answered called Larry, and he's like, "We've got farm work." I was like, "Okay." He's like, I was like, "Where is it?" He's like, "It's Mildura." I had no idea where it was, and I was like, "When's it start?" He's like, "You can, if you get here, like as soon as you get here, I've got loads of work on. You can just start tomorrow or the day after." I was like, "Cool." Like give me the address. I'll be there in like a couple of days. So then, I thought I just fuck it. I'll get to Mildura. Like there's, roll the dice.
Yeah.
So I went from Sydney. I got a train with the rest bit of my money, paid for some like food and stuff. Got this train all the way.
What's the distance there would be like from here to Scotland
fucking,
or something?
Oh mate, I was on that train.
Yeah, it's like damn. This ain't like close. This is fucking far away.
Yeah, just for a job.
Dan's just took this guy's word on by phone, and then he's like getting
random like no. And this guy sounded dodgy as fuck on the phone. Like no, it wasn't like it was just like I've got some work. It's on a farm. It's the outback, middle of a place called Mildura. Like there's some work here, and I just thought, fuck it, I'll go out there. So I bought my train ticket, which was quite expensive. I remember on the train, like I'd gone out the night before. I was hungover. I'd spent money I shouldn't have. And I remember like I didn't have hardly any money. I remember buying like a can of Coke or something, and I was so thirsty on the train. I just remember sipping this can of Coke, and the train journey was like, oh mate, it was like 12 hours or so. It was ridiculous. I just remember looking out the window, so it's some really cool scenery. And then I got to Adelaide, I think, and then I needed to get a coach. And all this time, so this was over a couple of days, I hadn't spoke to this guy again. So like, I didn't know if this was like, I really had a job there. So got on this coach, went all the way up to this like Mildura, and I just remembered going there. Then by this time, my money had gone, had no more money left, and like I remember getting on the coach, and he's supposed to meet me at the coach station, and it was like late at night, about 10 o'clock, and I got off the coach, and there's just no one there, and it's this old town, and I was just like, I'm fucked. Yeah, like I am. I think Ben will get it up on the.
Oh my god! Hang on, that's a 16-hour train journey.
No, I think there was a deal with it. So like there was some. I remember going to Adelaide, and then I got a coach because I landed in Majora in a coach.
Oh man!
So yeah, fuck knows how I. That don't seem right. Zoom out on the map. Oh, there you go. Real. Yeah. So I remember going to Adelaide, and then I got a coach, and I went up to Mildura.
Oh, you thought that was all the way across the other side?
Yeah, I was like,
but that just shows you how big, how big it is. It's that's like fucking
insane.
15 hours, and that's just like a small corner.
That's a quarter. Yeah.
You say you went to Brisbane first.
Yeah.
So fucking hell, even there, you've
then
come
went down to sit.
This is all in like a couple of days. I did one night in Brisbane, got the coach from Brisbane down to Sydney, spent a night in Sydney, went out on the piss.
Nice.
With the last bit of money I had. Then I got a train. Pretty sure I got a train to somewhere, and then I got off and had to get a coach, and it was another like mega journey.
Fucking hell.
So it was like I was just travelling, and all on a whim as well of like getting to this place in Mildura. So I rock up in Majora, and then my phone's out of battery. I got a Nokia.
Hey, follow the fish.
Follow the fish.
My battery's gone. I get out. I've got no more money. Like I can't get any money from home. I've got bad credits. Can't get credit. So I've got nothing. Get out, and then there's no one there, and I'm like just walking around. I'm like, what do I do? Like, so then I'm like looking around for like a charge point to try and charge my phone to call this guy, Larry. And I'd only spoke to him once, and he just said that there's work. So I went to the taxi driver to ask him if he knew anywhere I could get like a charge point. And look, he had the same phone. So I was like, look, can I borrow your battery? So I borrowed his battery, phoned this guy, and I'm like, look, I'm here. Where are you? And he's like, oh yeah, I'll come now. Come and get you. I was like, cool. Waited long, and then like this, I'll get the picture up. And this guy turned up in this old, fucking really old, like blue truck, and he's like, mate. It's boiling hot. It's the peak of their summer, and he's got a woolly hat on, like a jumper. He's like got long hair, he's sweating. He's all like, he's proper skinny. When I first met him, I thought he looked like a heroin addict. And then I get in the car, and he's got all these wigs on the car, and I'm like, fuck's sake. So I throw my backpack, and I'm like, just thinking I'd like grab a weapon. Yeah. And I'm like, this guy's fucking...
You had your Nokia, mate.
This guy's not right.
Indestructible. Break some teeth.
And then he's driving along, and he just seems dodgy as fuck. And I'm like, where we go? And he's like, yeah, I've got a house. I was like, is it your house? He's like, no, it's a house where people stay. And then it's at night, we pull up to this house, mate, and I'll show you a picture of the house and the room. And it's in the middle of nowhere, dodgy as fuck. And he's like, come around the back. And I was like, this is fucking, I'm going to get murdered. I'd watched like Wolf Creek and this.
That's what I was thinking.
I was like, this guy's going to try and fuck me up. So I was like, just all prepared. And then he knocks on the window, and these German lads, they're like, hello? And he's like, open the door. He opens the door, go in, and he gives me this bed, this shitty, horrible bed, just a horrible room. And there's these two German, just me, and there's two German guys. I'm like, you all right, guys? And it's like late at night. They're like, we leave tomorrow. And I was like, what? And he's like, we've been here a month. We haven't been paid by the farmers. He owes us $2,000. And I was just like, fuck. So I got into bed, and I woke up in the morning, and they fucked off, that they left. And then like there's a few rooms in the house that are closed and stuff. And then he took me to like a farm, this farmer, and I worked on this farm for like 2 weeks. Hard graft. It was like ripping down loads of grapevines and stuff. But I had no money, so each day I got all sunburned. I didn't have any money for sun cream. I had like enough money for a loaf of bread. So I'll take like, I live like Jesus. I had like bread and water in the morning. Tried to make like, I borrowed some jam off one of the girls, and then it was 2 weeks like later, it all went by, and then obviously I knew about these German lads leaving who didn't get paid, and it was from the same farmer that I was working for, and then I was like, I need my money, I've got no, and then he was like, he's like refusing to pay me. But I had nothing then anyway, so I've just persuaded him I was like, I'm going to go and visit the farmer. Like, and I've been working for him. Like, he needs to give me my money. So luckily, I don't know if he got it off him or whether he footed the bill or whatever. I don't know but he gave me the money anyway after a bit of persuasion for the 2 weeks.
Didn't you threaten to burn his farm down?
Yeah.
you say after a bit of persuasion.
No, I was fuming. Oh man,
that's brilliant.
Because I had nothing.
Yeah, of course.
I was starving,
and that was like your first fortnight in Australia, basically. First month in Australia.
First 2 weeks in Australia. Yeah.
That all went on.
So then,
fucking hell.
I got my money then. Give him the bit of money for the accommodation, and then I could buy a bit of food, and then like from there, worked for a few different farmers who generally, I don't know what it's like now, but then there was a lot of that going around where backpackers had worked for people and not been paid, like rip them off and stuff. Yeah. So I was cautious who I worked for, and then I found a really good farm, and I got on with the guy, and like I told him I was like ex-army and stuff, and he let me like drive some of the equipment, drive the tractor, and I did some hard jobs, so it was hard work, but like I got all right. I didn't know any correlation between any of the money, so I was on like $14 an hour, which here at that time was probably, I don't know, 10 quid an hour, something like that. And I was like, fucking hell, that's good money, man. I'm getting cash. And then like it's only when I got down to Perth and I met, and everyone, like, you were doing a bar job on like $20 an hour. Like I eventually I got a job like in a Broome in a brick factory in Broome. I was on fucking mad money. I was on like $700-800 a week or something. It was like 600 quid a week, man. I stood by a fucking, it's a brick factory, like just bricks. So I just hit a button. Like literally stood at it. I mean, monotonous, but like there's just bricks going around on a conveyor belt, and I just press this button all day long and just stacked them up and like
the money out there is so good.
Yeah, so you can. But I was thinking, bloody hell. But obviously the farmers then were just like rinsing me. Yeah. Especially for some of the jobs I was doing. I was driving some big equipment, like big tractors and stuff, and like thought I was on a right earning like 10 quid an hour. But and then I found out other guys were getting loads of money. But so yeah, that was my first couple of weeks, landing in Australia.
That's insane. So, and you were out there for 6 months before Jimmy joined you out there?
Yeah. So then I stayed in Mildura, did all my farm work. So for me, because I wanted to get I was 31 at the time, 31. I wanted to get my extended
basically
visa.
If you do like
three months
farm work, they'll extend your visa for like another year. Yeah. And then you can stay there for like another year after. Yeah. So Dan just wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah. But some of the farmers know that, and
so that's why some
of them play on it, and that, like there's loads of horror stories about that stuff, but probably better now. But in general, But I found a good farmer, and he I didn't actually do 3 months. I think I did 2 months, but he wrote that I did 3.
That's cool.
Which is cool. They're quite, sometimes they check on it, most of the time they don't. So I got that. So I was like, cool, I've done my farm work, I've got my thing. I had a bit of money then, not loads, but like enough to travel down from Mildura all the way. And James was like, it was funny because I think you landed and like you got a bar job.
So cushy. Like, one of my mates already lived out there, and he was like, I was just at home, like I used to just go to car boots, and I had literally again no money. I think my flight was like 1,200 quid, and I had like 800 quid. Yeah. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go stay with my friend Bri. And he was like, yeah, mate, come out. His mum and dad were like, yeah, come out, sweet, it's absolutely fine. Yeah. So like, sorry, I flew out there, and I'd never even like done any like Dan, you'd always sort of travelled around.
Yeah, I'd done a lot of contracts.
I'd never travelled in my life, so like I was worrying. So basically, like Dan stayed in like Thailand for like 8 weeks or whatever before. I had like an hour stop off in Hong Kong, and then I was straight back on the flight. Yeah. And I was like, well, if I'm going to Hong Kong and I get to the airport and I've got literally 1 hour, in my head, I was like, I thought everything was going to be in like fucking Hong Kong writing, and I'm like, I'm not going to know where I'm going.
Yeah.
So like, I phoned up the airport before, and I was like, look, I'm only young. Like, can someone meet me and fucking like show me to my next like flight?
Yeah.
So otherwise, I've only got an hour, so if
Yeah,
I miss it,
yeah.
I'm fucked. I can't.
Yeah.
And again, I was like so young, and I didn't, I wasn't like fucking streetwise, or I'd never travelled.
Yeah.
And then like, so I got to Hong Kong, and it's weird. Like they were like, someone's going to come and meet you, and then take you to the next flight. So like, I'm
nice.
there, and there's this elderly lady who's in like a wheelchair, so she can't get from A to B either.
Yeah.
So like they was going to come push her, and I'll just go along.
Tag along, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, literally, we get there, and like no one's coming along, and it's just like me and this elderly lady.
Oh god.
And I'm like, she's going to the same place as me. She's like, oh, we've only got an hour, and I'm like, yeah, it's right, they'll be here.
Yeah.
And then it's like, fucking, I don't know, another 20 minutes goes. It's like, fucking hell, we've got like half an hour to get on this flight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, I can't just ditch this old lady.
No, yeah.
So like, I was like, fuck it. I was like, me and you are gonna have to go do it alone, love. Like, we're gonna have to try and find the next flight.
Yeah.
So literally, I'm like running in the middle of Hong Kong, going around this airport with this old lady who I don't even know, just pushing her around, like looking at all these gates and like just whizzing past with this old lady. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm just cracking up in my head, and I'm just busting this old lady around. And then like, we luckily get to the gate in time, and then like, because she's in the wheelchair, like they let us on first, and they think that I'm her grandson because I'm pushing her along. And then they're like, oh, you're the grandson, and I'm just like, yeah, just trying to get through so I can get on the plane first. And she's like kind of looking back at me, and I'm like, and then they obviously like see the passports are like different names or whatever.
Yeah.
But they get us on the flight, and then like, it was just so fun. I just remember being in this Hong Kong airport with this old lady.
Yeah.
And then like, it's just so random, yeah. And then so I land there, meet my mate. That day I go for, his dad was like, oh, do you want to come for a pint in the pub? And I was like, sweet,
Bry's
yeah,
dad,
Bry's dad, yeah. So I went down the pub with his dad just for a pint, and then he was the lady behind the bar was like, oh yeah, do you want a job? And I was like, fucking touch.
No fucking
yeah.
way.
And then she was
How
like,
you struggle,
yeah,
mate.
no,
Just
I didn't even
falling out.
ask. I didn't even ask. I wasn't even looking for a job or anything. Like, and yeah, this lady's just like me, and she was like, oh, do you want a job? And I was like, yeah, fucking sweet. And she was like, oh, you got to do your RSA. And then like my mate's brother Terry had already done one, so he was like, literally done it there and then on the phone. It was like, there's your RSA. And then I just got a job straight away. So I was like,
I remember phoning him, speaking
and I was
to him.
like,
Yeah, I've got a job.
Yeah, I was like, how much do I get paid? She's like, yeah, it's like $20 an hour. I was like, this is fucking sick. Yeah, so like, I've got accommodation, a sick job, like in this place. Like my mate's there and that. And then my mate's brother was like, oh, do you want to join the football team? And I was like, this is fucking brilliant. Yeah, so there's like a local fucking Australian football team.
Yeah.
And it's weird, like their football's like completely, like their Sunday league compared to ours is like, it's such a better level. Like they have like a chairman of like the club, and like they had like 3 coaching staff. So I was like going to training. I was on like $20 an hour. I was going to training. They had coaches. Like I had I was like, this. I feel like a fucking professional football player.
Yeah.
Like, I'd never had that much money before.
Gotta say it, mate. Was it Billy?
Oh yeah.
Billy had been out there.
Yeah.
This is a tangent. Quickly, what I've got to say. A story so fun. So, what's his surname?
His name's Billy Smith.
Billy Smith. So there's a guy called Billy Smith, and James had told me about it. He'd been out there and then left, and I think you bought his car, didn't you?
Yeah, basically, as I got there, Bill left. So Bill had loads of, like, he had a phone, a car, all this stuff, and because he was leaving, he was like, oh, do you want to buy it off me? So I literally bought all this stuff, dirt cheap. Yeah. I had everything set up, first day. Insane. I was like, this is sick.
But this Billy Smith, so like, James had said about this Billy Smith and mentioned it as his mate, and I had worked in Southend, this Billy Smith Sunday, I'd worked in Southend with a lad called Billy Smith, and he told me about it, and this other Billy Smith had gone away, and then he'd done some travelling, and I was like, it's the same Billy Smith. And And then like James told me all this story, and then we'd talk about this Billy Smith, who I follow on my Facebook, not like a close friend, but a friend of a friend. And then it was only a few years ago, about 7-8 years ago. I was talking to my sister, and we were saying something about Billy Smith, and I was like, oh yeah, I was saying, he's got blonde hair, and she was like, no. I was like, yeah, he's like Billy Smith. So in my head, I created all this stuff about Billy Smith. He's got brown hair. I was like, Billy Smith's got blonde hair. And then I got a picture up, and she's like, that's not Billy Smith. So that's Billy Smith. So that's not Billy Smith. And then
Dan had created this person, like living this other person's life, and he was so convinced that this.
So it's just another guy called Billy Smith. But we'd have chats about Billy Smith. And I was like, the guy I used to work with, and then they're like, no, and it just it wasn't a totally different guy. A little tangent.
Just while we're on a tangent, this is related to Australia. My cousin Tom, he went out there to work for a year and live for a year, and. He said the sports scene is fucking brilliant. Everyone's skateboarding or playing sports or whatever. And he joined a cricket team because Tom was fucking hell up until under 16s, I believe. He was captain of Norwich Football Academy. Always been sports, shit hot, county cricket level, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, goes to Australia, plays for his cricket team, comes back. I signed up to a cricket team, Hingham. They folded after the first game. They were a reserve team. Just couldn't get enough backing. But anyway, I was like, we needed players, and I was like, right, well, my cousin Tom can come in at Wiki, and because he played county. I was like, you should play county. He's played international cricket. And they were all just like, oh my fucking God. I think they thought they were getting fucking Monty Panesar or something. And it was just purely because he'd gone out to Australia and played a bit of cricket in Australia. But I bigged him up so much, honestly, man, he's unbelievable. Like I say, international fucking cricket player, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he said when he lived out in Australia, he went out there to work. I think his uncle, so obviously I'm on his mum's side, uncle on his dad's side, I believe, sorted him out with a job and that out there, and he lived out there for a year. But yeah, he said he just skateboarded everywhere. The sports scene was sick. Everyone's playing volleyball and shit on the the beaches and that, and it's just a very active place. But I thought I'd shoehorn in my international cricket star.
But that must have been with them, with me, because it's they must just be funded different. They're the way their Sunday teams now work.
They have money, didn't they?
Yeah, they had fucking. I mean, they had sprinklers going on the pitch before the game, and I'm like,
proper clubhouse.
Yeah, clubhouse. It was the bollocks, mate. I literally felt it was like a league, League Two. Yeah, people are there looking after you.
Proper training sessions.
Yeah, they're telling you about diet and shit. I'm like, this is so good.
Yeah,
and they must just be like, we've got this new player from England.
Yeah, exactly.
Sign him up.
Yeah.
He's had Hampshire trials. Just all bollocks.
Sounds fucking Jimmo.
Get Jimmo on, mate.
Trials at West Ham.
Yeah. Get Jimmo in the meat grinder.
But I love
Get him in the mixer. He'll fucking put it in the bottom corner.
It was so. I mean, the heat out there. I remember just playing their Sunday league, and I was like, this is ridiculously. This is so hot.
Yeah.
It was just.
Disgusting.
Oh mate, you reminded me about a mixer. When I worked at the Brit Factory, the shittest job. So there's a big fucking huge mixer that mixes all the concrete.
Yeah.
And every day, the apprentice or the bottom of the bottom, aka me, had to go in and clean it with diesel. So mate, I had to climb in, and there's a fucking switch on there, and he was like, make sure every time that switch is off. Because if that goes while you're in there, it's going to fucking grind you up. So I was always panicking, thinking it's a switch. What if there's an electrical fault? And I'd be hungover a lot of the time. Sometimes because I'd go in there and spray the diesel, and then sometimes I'd get it'd take about 40 minutes to an hour to clean it. And I could do it a little bit faster. Sometimes I'd have a little nap in there, little 20-minute nap. But you have to go in there, spray it all with diesel. And then you get this little chipper to chip away all the concrete. It was a horrible job.
Yeah.
It's just and it's hot. Obviously, it's boiling hot in Australia. I had to do that every couple of days. But yeah, it was horrible. right in the mixer.
So I'm just going to, sorry to interrupt, boys. I'm just going to quickly take it to a break because I need a pee-pee. But when we come back, I want to hear more about your best moments, worst moments. I'm going to ask you what you thought about the insects, the animals, because I hear there's a lot of shit out there that can kill you. Who are the best and worst people you met out there, if you want to detail that? And did you ever think, do you know what? Fuck England, I'm going to stay here. So we'll see you after this break.
Oh, yeah.
APMA. You're right, we're back. Quick recap for you very quickly. So Dan drops into Oz, $80 to his name, nearly dies before scrabbing, getting a job at the last minute, miles and miles away, slaves away, just manages to survive, getting a few jobs. Jimmy rocks up and just somehow lucks out by going to the pub and gets everything set for him and becomes the British Puyol of Australian football. And that's where we're at. What happened next?
So Dan's obviously down south, slaving it out. Yeah. And he rings me up and I'm like, you need to come to Perth, mate. This is the city of gods. This is where you just land here.
And it all happens for you.
And everything will just be sorted out.
We'll go to the pub.
Well, mate, because I had a friend called Maurice. I can't remember his from.
He's from Ecuador.
Ecuador, yeah. And so like me and him, like we're slaving away every day, like just about getting money and food, and then I phoned James, and he's like, yeah, I've got a job, I'm like $20 an hour, I got a car, got somewhere to live, and I was like, so then for us, like Perth was the promised land,
yeah.
And I was like, we've just got to get to Perth, and he's like, what's in Perth? I was like, there's jobs, there's money, there's like, I was like, we just need to get there.
Because I like I say, I was working at the bar, so there was people coming in, getting drinks and stuff, and it's a place where you talk about jobs and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was this lady who used to come in called Carol, right? And she was like, lovely lady, would come in for like a little afternoon drink, and I was like, just chat, like I'm just working, chatting to her. I'm like, oh yeah, like my brother's looking at coming up. She's like, he can come and stay with me. She's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I think he's got his friend Maurice as well. And she's like, yeah, they can both just come and live with me.
She's about
like,
60 odd.
Yeah, she's about 60, this woman. Yeah. Really like being really nice. She's like, just come and stay at my place. Like, come over later, have a look at the house. So I'll go over there later, right? She's got like a brand new like convertible Volvo and this like SUV thing. And like, she's like, they can borrow the cars, they can take...
What?
And all I'm thinking is like, Dan's going to rock up with this like fucking cool guy called Maurice, right? And us three are going to take the convertible Volvo down the beach and we're just going to be like cool as fuck. We're going to be picking up fucking birds. This is going to be sick, right? Carol's a lovely lady.
People do this in Australia. You do get nice people that they're just like, yeah, come and stop at mine. Like it happens. It's not like a one-off. Like it happens quite regularly. People,
right?
They're very like,
come part of the culture.
Yeah, you meet someone like, come over, come to a barbecue. You can stop. Like it's very, like it's not like England, mate. It's reserved. Like it's very.
Yeah. So she's
open.
like, yeah, they can come. Like I've got 2 rooms. They can come and stay here for as long as they want.
Like free of charge? Or?
Yeah, no, I think it was like...
cheap.
Yeah, it was cheap anyway,
yeah.
And she was like, they can, until they find work, they can find work. And I was like, amazing, this is brilliant. Like, what a lovely lady. So, like, I'm like, Dan, you can shut up at Carol's, you and Maurice can both come, get here, you'll get you a job, it's going to be sick, mate. Everything's going to be fine. And then, like... It's the night where you like arrive in the day, and this is when just the whole thing just collapses completely.
Oh
no, I think
we stopped hers the first night.
So you get there, and this is where it all started to go a bit wrong. So like, she's at the pub, I'm at work. Dan comes to meet me, and then he's going to go back with Carol to her place. She's going to show him their bedroom. They're going to have a nice, lovely evening. Dan's going to come see me the next day. Obviously, we're going to drive out, find work, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, see you later, bro. No, I'm like, oh, I'll come over later. I'll come over later.
See how he's settling in.
I'll bring some beers and we'll have a couple of beers and we'll just. So like, Dan goes back to this Carol's house with Maurice, and then I'm like, finish work. I head over there like, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours later. I've got my beers, so I'm like, knock on the door, and like, Dan answers the door, and Dan's like, just got this weird face, just this like odd face, like, and I'm like, is everything all right? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, she's.
Oh, so we started having a couple of beers.
Yeah, and he's like, she just don't seem right, and I'm like, what are you going on about? I'm like, she's lovely. Like, she comes in, she's. I'm like, Dan, you just like, you must
you
be
don't
making.
know,
Yeah.
Carol.
And he's like, mate, he's like, just wait, you'll see it. So like, we go in there, and like, I'm cracking over some beers. And I'm like a bit hungry, and I'm like, oh, like.
She'd got out the bottle of wine.
Yeah, I think
she started on the wine, which is fine.
Yeah.
We're having beers, she's having she's starting to drift a little bit from nice normal character, like nice in the day. She starts having this wine. She starts going a little bit strange.
Yeah, like,
You've got me on the edge of my fucking seat here. Like,
and like, so I get there. I'm like having a few beers, and I'm like, oh, shall I get some food? She's like, no, there's food in the fridge, right? So I'm like, oh, all right, sweet. So like, I go to the fridge, right? Bearing in mind, I think it was like February, or
that's their summer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's hot.
I think it's about February time. And I open up the fridge, right? And all that is in the fridge is, like, like them candies that you hang on Christmas trees, them white candy, like
the
Candy canes.
candy canes.
Yeah.
The whole fridge is full of candy
and wine.
Nothing else.
and some bottles of wine. Loads of them.
I mean, the whole fridge.
Mate, no food. Them and wine.
It's full of them and wine, right? And I'm like, Carol, like, you've just got candy canes in the fridge. Like, there's no. She's like, they're lovely. Have a candy. Have a candy cane. She's like, crack open the candy canes. I'm like, and I'm instantly like, what the fuck's going on? Like, and I'm obviously this woman she's got mental issues or whatever. But like,
we didn't know this.
If all of a sudden you're in this situation,
and I'm like, we're just drinking, and I'm just like, this is, and I'm quite young as well. I'm like, this is quite funny, and I'm just like. And then she's like talking about stories of just she's just going off on a tangent, like being very strange. Yeah. And like, then we're all sitting there around there listening, but we're all thinking, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're sitting there, Dan's sitting there, Maurice is sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking, what is this woman going on about? And why are we in this situation? And how the fuck can we get out of this situation? And it's just that moment of like, she's talking, and like, I can see Dan's like trying not to laugh, and obviously it sets me off, and then we all start cracking up laughing. Me, Dan, and Maurice are like just laughing because
she thought I was someone else.
That was it. That was it.
She kept calling me a different name.
That was it. Yeah.
Right.
So, sorry. We're sitting there. She keeps calling Dan like a completely different name.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is so strange. And I'm like, again, like, I'm trying not to laugh, and then we just start cracking up laughing, don't we? To the point where I'm like, and then even she's laughing with us, but she doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Dan, I need to get outside and get some air because this is fucking too. So we're sitting in a back garden, just like cracking up laughing, like, what the fuck's going on? And I was like, you can't come back and stay at Brian's. Like, I can't have you and Maurice there. So I'm like, just stay here for the night. And I'm like, we'll sort something out tomorrow. Just, it's late. Just stay here. And
so James and who's the other lad there? Terry. They left.
I was like, just get some sleep. She might be right. She might just be having a weird evening or whatever. Yeah, like, just stay there. I'll see you in the morning. So like,
but she, so like,
obviously the nightmare ended there for me. I went home.
Yeah.
She carried on drinking, and she convinced she kept. Then she started getting a bit nasty, going like, "You're lying," and I'm like, "I'm not this person," and she's like, why are you doing this to me? Like, and I was just like, and I was like, I'm going to go to bed.
God.
So then I ended up going to bed, and she's just carrying on drinking and eating candy canes.
Mate, I'm telling you, like, she was you know when when their eyes, you don't see a serial killer and their eyes are like black and they just change.
Oh,
and she was just like this.
I think we've got a picture of it somewhere. And
I would fucking be putting the chest of drawers in front of the door or something.
Mate,
they did.
This is how I got to the wall. So Maurice did the same. Did the same. But then she got into his room. And he's a big lad from like fucking. He's a lump, a lovely guy, but he's a big lad. And she got into his room, and I could hear him saying like, get out. And then she was like touching his leg, and and he was like, you have to come out, come. And like, obviously we've got nowhere to go, we've got no money, and then she's like, we're just in this weird situation. I was like, I'll just like lock up the door until the morning, and then got up in the morning, and she'd obviously. I think she slept in her living room or whatever. And she woke up like, "Oh, yeah, boys, how you doing?" Back to Carol as if nothing had happened. Yeah. And then she's like, "Can you?" Because I mentioned I'd like when we were there, we were talking about a car, and she's like, "Can you look at my car?" And then she wanted me to fix her car, and then I was just like, James,
what about last night?
Yeah, and I was just like, I've fucking got to get over here. Like, I can't go through this again. Like, this is weird. But as weird as it was so funny because it was like it would come out of nowhere.
Honestly, it was because again,
not in a horrible way.
Not in a horrible, but it was
all of a sudden being in that situation.
It was like
because she caught us off guard. It was when she started.
And I thought she might have even been joking
at the start. Yeah. Because she kept calling me.
But when I saw the candy canes, mate, I was just like, this is fucked.
Nah, she's
just mental.
Yeah, bless her.
And, oh my goodness.
And as well, like people in the pub had said to me, like, yeah, she's lovely, like blah blah blah. But obviously they hadn't seen the other side.
They ain't seen the candy canes.
And like, the next day, obviously, I went to work in the morning, and I was like saying to some of the people who was coming in, I was like, mate, she's fucking got candy canes in her fridge, and now she's like off, and they're all like they're all pissing themselves laughing, and whether they knew, I don't know, but I was just like, this is like
the thing with Maurice, like if you flipped it round, if that was a woman in a bed and a guy was trying, it's it's a different story. But like we were laughing about it, and like he's a big lad. He's like, come on, and she getting under the sheets and grabbing him and like just. But I mean, but obviously she's just an alcoholic. But no one knew. We didn't know, and she didn't even know. The morning after, she had no clue what had gone on. So yeah, we ditched that place off at Carroll's.
So the next day, I was like,
the dream was dead.
I just said to Dan and Maurice, I was like, look, you had a rough night. Just come down to the bar. I'll sort you out drinks all day. We'll have a nice day. We'll find figure something out. And so yeah, this is literally the next day. So like, they're in there having drinks all day. I'm just sorting the boys out. And
only beers at this point because. I remember I don't drink vodka.
Oh yeah.
And we were drinking, and then Brian, his mate, was coming down later, and he went and bought a load of. He's like, I'm going to the bar, and I was like, oh mate, don't get me vodka. Like it always ends badly. And then he comes back with just one vodka, just one. Like,
not that that's the debate. It's just like
that wasn't doing anything.
If Dan has it,
just had it. Fine, absolutely fine, nothing wrong. And then
so like literally all day, like Dan and Maurice over there, they're having drinks, and then there's like a big Irish community in this place, and they're like in there as well. I'm sorting them, like having like a laugh of this Irish family or whatever, and I don't realise that some commotion with the family that I'm staying with has happened previously with this Irish family.
Right.
Basically, the lad I was staying with, he'd ended up getting with the missus of one of the Irish family.
Yeah.
So that was like that called.
And then she turned out to be.
And then she turned out to be a lesbian, and she left him, but they still didn't like each other, even though that the ladies obviously got different tastes. Different tastes. So
the whole
I don't know why they're fighting over something that neither of them.
A lost cause.
But like, I haven't got a clue about it. Dan
nothing.
Hasn't got a fucking clue.
Maurice knew nothing.
Maurice didn't fucking know what was going on. So I'm like, we're having a great day. We're all getting like pissed up. I finish work, and then obviously Terry and Brian come down, and they're like, "Oh, it's the fucking Irish family, blah blah blah." Explain the situation to me, but still haven't. Dan doesn't really know what's going on. But
I didn't hear any of it. Like I didn't even know.
So like, as Terry's gone to walk out, I can't remember.
I remember this bit quite clearly because so Terry had gone out. So Terry was first. These other lads, two of them, had got up. His mate had gone first, and then this lad who Terry had this thing had gone after. And then I was walking out, James. So this guy in front of me, no idea who he is because they were talking. I was with Maurice, like doing. So this guy in front of me had no idea who he is. As he walks out, it's like double doors.
I gone out first.
Yeah,
I gone out first.
It was like double doors.
Bearing in mind as well, I worked at this place. I'm friends with everyone. Everything's cushy.
He'd opened it, and it had as he walked out, he caught it and it hit him. The door hit him. Right. So I was behind him, and I just had a giggle because I thought it was funny. This guy's walked into the door, quite funny. Yeah. He turns around, thinks I'm laughing at him. Obviously, something to do. I'm Terry's mate. They've told me about what's happened. Yeah. I'm laughing about it. He just turns around and sees me laughing, headbutts me. Randomly,
just out of nowhere, like a vicious headbutt.
So there's something about headbutting. You can hit someone, but if you headbutt someone, you are a bit of a.
So I was like, I didn't even know what's going on. So that you.
So basically, I walked out. I walked out first, right? Don't know what's going on. There's a geezer who I don't know. Oh, the Irish guy's walked out. He's turned round, headbutted Dan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? But as he's headbutted down, he's kind of like walking backwards, and he's kind of just lined up perfectly in front of me. Yeah. And I just, because it's my brother.
Of course, no, without a doubt.
I'm dropping him.
Yeah.
So like, literally just dropped him, and then
his mate obviously goes for James. I go for his mate.
Yeah.
And then
their whole family, this whole Irish lot, all get up and coming out. Everyone knows me in the pub, like. Local fucking legend, Jimmy's getting fucking.
So the British pavilion.
The whole pub, like
it comes from the door.
Full bar, like the whole bar is erupting. There's fucking chairs going everywhere. All this history between these two families. Yeah, the whole place is going.
It's about 8 of us because about 8 of us and about 8 of them. So it's like it's fairly fair, but there's just. Punches flying everywhere, chairs like
snooker balls. Yeah. It's just carnage, and I'm like, how? Yesterday, Dan was coming in. Everything was good. Then he's had a night at Carol's, and then fucking it's all kicked off.
You couldn't write it.
And then like. It's just all kicking off, and I'm like, I remember just running into the kitchen, like trying to find
a meat cleaver.
Well, I was like Pulp Fiction, where he's like looking for the. Every time he grabs something, and I was like, grab the pen, and then I was like, fucking hell, there's some scissors. Grab the scissors. I was like, oh, a fucking knife. And then I was like, do you know what? Jim, you don't need a knife.
We did all right.
Picked up the Glock.
I just picked up a chair. Just come out with the fucking.
We held our own, but they had a reputation around there anyway. And, but we held our own, and like that was kind of it.
But I didn't even know, and then everyone was like, "Well, you can't." The next day, obviously, I got fired because I was fighting, throwing chairs. He was like, I would have kept you on until I saw you running across the thingy with a chair. And like literally, and I was like, look, if you're going to fire me, I was like, can I at least get the CCTV footage? And I've got it somewhere.
The police were sound with us because like, obviously we didn't cause it, but they were saying all this stuff like, you don't know who we are, or just all this like blah.
And everyone was like, oh, it's this family, they're gonna like come after you, whatever. So I was like, fuck this, I'm moving out as well. I ain't staying here. I was like, so it was just me, Dan, Maurice headed into the city. Yeah, I was like, boys, I'm off ski. I ain't fucking staying around here with all this Irish family. Yeah. And then it was just us three, wasn't it? Just like,
we had a random night at this. I just remember this random house, and then I just remember. I don't know who he was, just this weird little lad, saying about how he was like, because he come back and we hadn't seen the footage, and he was like, yeah, I was doing this, and I was like knocking this one out, and I had your backs and all this.
Oh yeah, this one kid, and then, he worked with me, and he was like, mate, I had your fucking back, I was there, I was doing all this, and then when we watched
the footage back, and he just ran off. Just you can see him like hiding, and we were so then then we ended up getting a little place in the city, didn't we?
Yeah, just in the city, yeah.
Like this random little place, like a little room. And again,
But then we literally had like, I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
Dan didn't have a job.
Yeah.
Maurice didn't have a job. And we just went into the city. We got this fucking Irish family apparently after us.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on. And I was like, I feel like we're in a movie now. We're like on the run.
Yeah.
And
just looking for work.
Just looking for work then, and like the money is dropping
Dwindling.
down. Like we've got nothing. Like
so, the woman, like she was called Jenny, and we used to call it J dodging. So like she'd give us this room, and I think between us all, we just had enough money for like a week.
Yeah.
We put down the money for the week, and then the week had elapsed, and then so we called it J dodging.
I think you talked about when you talked about the hospital. I think you talked about
So this house had like multiple entrances. It had like the back door, had the front door. It had a couple of different ways you could go in and out. And we had
about 4 ways.
And we had a room, so we would always be like on the scout for her. And we were always going to pay her. We just didn't have the money, so we had to go away, and then we'd always dodge her, and then like get the money. We'd always get the money eventually.
I'm like, where's your brother? He's at work. He's coming back with the money. I promise. We'd duck her for like another 2 days.
But that was when, like, I remember we sat down in the kitchen for a meeting, and we were like, well, we got $30 for 2 weeks, which is about what, 20 quid, 15 quid. So we're like, right, ginger biscuits, pasta and sauce. So that we got and some tea bags. So we'll have our tea and our ginger biscuits in the morning. We got our pasta for dinner, and we had that for like 2.5. Oh, mate, hated pasta.
I can't eat pasta now. In that tomato
just in that sauce, like nothing with it, no cheese, like not just the sauce.
Every night we'd eat
every
that.
night,
and that's when we luckily landed like the job in the hospital. And that's sort of how we got a bit of money from when we was in Perth. But we would go on nights out, and what did we used to drink? It was like port, wasn't it? Because port was really cheap there.
Yeah.
It was like,
port,
get a
Pepsi.
bottle of port for like $4 or something.
Yeah.
So what I would do is, because we lived quite near town, me and Dan used to say, right, we'll both down, because you can't take the port in where you're going. So I said, what we'll do, we'll down it, so we're still sober, and then we have to get into a nightclub before it hits us. Once we're in, we're fucking absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
And like, because
I remember, mate, we would grab bottles, empty bottles.
Yeah.
To like walk around the club as if we got a bottle. Do you know what I mean? That looked weird. Like,
so we would literally get tanked, wait in the queue and be like, just don't kick in, and then you get in and you'd be like off your nut, and just empty bottles, just like walking around, and then we'd have a good night.
And also in Australia, I think it's every like Thursday, that everyone would put the rubbish out, but they'd also put like stuff that they're like semi-useful, but like they're chucking away. So we had a car, and like, lucky you had your car, so we'd use that and we'd go around and like just have a little mooch and see what we could collect.
Yeah, we used to find bikes, and then we'd go on like bike rides.
We found 2 little bodyboards, and then like we took these
I forgot about the
2 little kids that were like pink and purple.
Yeah.
You got all these cool surfers down the beach, and then fucking
most people would just drive past that and be like that, and I was like, slam the brakes on, and Dan was like, what's that? And I was like, fucking bodyboards, mate. I was like, we can go bodyboarding.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be sick.
We took them down, and then we went down where all the surfers were, but we were kind of like getting in their way, and we looked fucking ridiculous. So we're like, we'll go further up.
Yeah, they've all got like wetsuits on, like fucking $1,000 surfboards, and then there's me and Dan just shorts, pasty white bodies on like a pink bodyboard and a purple bodyboard, just like smashing these massive, huge waves.
So we drove up the right around the bay sort of thing, and went up and these waves were fucking mega, and we were like, cool, let's get it. And like it was like some of the best, like in the sea. It was like you catching these waves. They were like 6-8 foot, and then I don't know. There was no one there, so it was obviously a bit dodgy. But like the way it was working is like all the sea would rush out and there'd just be a drop. Yeah,
they call it like sand dumping.
Yeah, and we kept getting fucking...
Surfers would never ever surf in it.
Yeah.
It's like, because basically when the wave lands, the water's so shallow where it sucks it up.
Yeah.
You're basically hitting like shallow water.
Yeah.
But me and Dan are just on our bodyboards, like these huge massive waves, and just smashing.
Yeah. But it was so much fun, mate.
We're loving it. We're like, we don't know nothing about surfing.
We got absolutely battered, but... yeah, it was so, and when you're on the top of these waves, like 6 and 8 foot on your little bodyboard, but we were getting like we shouldn't have been there. I remember one of them caught me and it took the wind out of me.
Yeah,
and then I was struggling to get back up because my breath had gone.
Yeah,
and Dan used to say to me, Dan was like, "Is there nets here?" because that's like a thing in Australia, isn't it, with the shark? Because obviously, it's fucking sharks.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, yeah, mate, it's definitely nets here, like 100%.
Yeah.
And then like I remember like
Not there.
after we've been bodyboarding for like 3 hours, like that people are like, why are you going in the sea?
Yeah,
There's
don't go
no
there.
nets.
It's
And I'm
fucking
like,
dodgy as well.
and I'm like, fuck. I was like, I didn't even know. So we're in these like
Shark infested.
Like waters. Just people must have thought we're just nuts. It's because you don't know, do you?
It was good though. It was good fun. Like, I did
It was
enjoy
good.
Fucking hell. So where did you go from the bodyboards? Are you still? Where are you in?
We're
are you
in Perth.
in Perth in town at this
So
point?
we're still in Perth, and then I think I can't even remember.
We had the jobs at the hospital, which we covered before,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Well,
I think
what
we just had.
happened after
I
the
think we just
hospital?
had enough of working. We were like, look, at the end of the day, we're here on holiday.
Wanna
Yeah.
go
We're in
backpacking.
we're in like a city.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, we've got the fucking car. Let's just
Yeah.
let's head up north of Australia. I was like, we'll just get a load of booze, stick it in the car. I was like, we'll just drive until we find our next job or whatever.
Yeah.
Then we just went off on a drive then.
We didn't even know where we were going.
There was a guy again, and like you get a phone call, and there's a guy like this farm work at this place. Like it's gonna come in. Like it's about the seasons. He's like, it's coming. The farm work there. So like we were like, we'll drive up there. There's gonna be farm work, and like every time we drove up to like a place, we'd ask about the farm work. Like it's not. It's not on yet.
Someone's turned up today and took the jobs.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, right.
Or the season's not come in, or so like we just kept driving up and hitting these barriers each time.
We literally got to this. I can't remember what the place was called. Might be called Kununurra. Might be making that up. But they were like, we rung up this next place, which is in Broome, and the guy was like, we've got work, and we only had enough fuel.
Yeah.
To get it was another place. It was in like Darwin, and we only had enough fuel to go to Broome and then to Darwin.
Yeah.
So me and Dan were like, right, the only way we can get there is if we drive at like
Optimal.
a really low speed, because we didn't have enough fuel to drive there at like, I don't know, 90 miles an hour. So we had to drive at like
58 miles an hour.
58 miles. But like, you saw how big Australia is on the map.
Yeah.
So me and Dan are literally in this like old Mitsubishi, fucking just, again, too pasty, got alcohol in the back, just driving at like 50. Like there's these massive delivery like road trains.
Yeah.
Which you're supposed to overtake. They're overtaking me and Dan. We're just going well slow, just so we can make it.
Yeah.
I've got some
this
really
place.
cool pictures of that drive actually.
Yeah. We'll put some up on the screen.
Yeah.
So we pull into this before we go to Darwin. We pull into this other place called Broome, and I think we just stayed there. We was going to stay there for one night, weren't we?
We did one night in the backpackers, and then we were leaving the next day. We were driving out.
Yeah, so we're staying there one night, and then we were going to leave the next day and go to Darwin for this other job. But I think we went out that night. We had it just had a nice feel about the place. And then the next day we woke up and we were like, right, this is it now. Like, if once we get to Darwin, there's no going back. Like, and I was like, it just don't.
We started driving, so we're driving out.
That's what I mean. We're driving out, and we're driving out. Dan's driving. I'm sitting in the passenger. I don't know whether it's where I'm hungover or what, but like, I'm like, this just don't feel right. You
went, give the guy a call. They were going to the job because he said the day before there's work, and I don't know why you said it, but I remember it because you were like, give the guy a call to check the work.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. So I remember I phoned him. We pulled over, phoned him, and he's like, there's no work on. So
no, he said to you, there's work. He went, yeah, there's work. And then afterwards I said, I'm going to call him. I phoned him straight after.
Oh, yeah.
And it was another
Different
person,
phone,
but they were like, yeah, there's no work. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, we can't risk.
Yeah.
Because we're risking everything. We've got no money.
Yeah.
We can't access anything.
And there's a place that we'd passed on the way in called 8 Mile. Was it 8 Mile?
I think so. 12 mile.
12 mile, 8 or 12 mile. It's 8 miles off the filming it. It's something like that.
They had like a sign saying that.
Mango farm.
It's something like that. Anyway, yeah. The Mango Place, Broome, that's it. Yeah, so we pulled into there and we were like, went up to the woman, we're like randomly, I don't suppose you've got any work? And she was like, we've just had 2 people leave. So there's two places available. You don't get paid, but you get all your food. You can stop here as long as you want. It's a little community. You just got to like help out in the mango farm, like work on the.
It's like honestly, it's like I'm a celebrity. Get me out of it.
Yeah.
It's like you got your little tent.
Yeah,
you're in like this.
Got a bit of power.
It's kind of like Big Brother. Like there's these little. There's like different like what's the fucking word?
Communal areas.
Nah, just like the characters, different people.
Oh, right, okay.
That's Paul. That's John.
Yeah.
They live here with his missus. He's been here for 4 months, and there's like kind of like a little hierarchy.
Yeah, everyone's got their own little thing.
And like me and Dan turn up, and it's just like this funny little fucking community.
Some, like most people are there, like they've planned it, they've met up, they've researched it. We just fucking did it on a whim, and you got to just do different tasks there. Like you might one day you got to cook, one day you got to fucking sweep up leaves, and so we stayed there for a few days. Well, it's quite a while, but I was just like, look, we need to get back into Broome and get some money.
Because we'd had one night in Broome, and I was like, it's quite good.
Yeah,
if we can, again, me and Dan make these little goals. We're like, if we can fucking get a job and we can live in the backpackers and we can just have a little life in Broome, that'd be sick. Like that would be the bollocks. Like if we can do that, and then so Dan's like, right, I'm gonna fucking go and find a job then, and you stay here.
Yeah, man the fort.
Basically, I had to like, when they would be like, because you weren't allowed to go out and look for work, I'd have to be like, they'd be like, where's Dan? And I'd be like, oh, he's sweeping leaves around the back. But he'd be like, jump over the back fence, get in the car, go into town to like look for work. And I'll just be like around like sweeping leaves and fucking mincing around.
That's it. I don't know if we covered this. So I've been in. I got a few interviews lined up, and then I'd got a job. I think I talked about it when the boat. I got. So I got that job, and I don't know if we talked about this. But then I had another interview, and I was like, I've got a job. So I went to the guy like, instead of me, I know I've applied for the job, but like, I've got my brother, who's pretty much the same, but like obviously James is like 10 years younger at that time. Has it like I was like, I've got my forklift license, I've got the army background. Jim's got
I got nothing.
None of it.
Literally like I haven't even got like interview clothes or anything. I'm just along for the ride.
I was like, I'll go. He's like, well, bring him along. So then I go and pick him up. You put your shiny jeans.
So Dan's like, oh, do you want to go for this job interview? And I'm like, yes, fucking, I'll go for it. Like, because I'm so young, I'm just thinking, I don't care, I'll go for anything. Yeah. And he's like, have you got any like trousers? And I'm like, I've got some like jeans. And I think I like picked them up in like a charity shop or something. Yeah. But they're like, do you remember them jeans back in the day? But they had like sort of another little stitch throughout them, and they're like a little bit shiny.
Yeah.
Basically, I had a pair of them, and I had these like shiny jeans for this interview. And then Dan's like, you've got to wear my steel toe cap boots. So honestly, I rock up to this interview with Dan looking like John Travolta, like fucking. Basically, you remember them old school jeans? Yeah. And I was just like,
but mate, it's the funniest interview ever. So like, I'm chatting to the guy, and then
that's what I look like.
I think he got his boss in, and then it all went a bit weird. And he's like, so he's asking me, should we give James the job?
Asking you?
Yeah. So there's the guy who owns the place, the guy who manages the place, Dan, who's already got the job there but has got a job somewhere else. So Dan's trying to give me the job, and them two, instead of them two deciding between them, they're asking Dan whether I'm good enough to do the job at their place. Well, obviously Dan's going to say
yes.
So I'm selling it. I'm like 100%. He's got like all the attributes you need.
I'm just standing there looking like fucking John Travolta in my shiny jeans, right?
Weird.
They're just like I'm not even there. They're like, can he drive a forklift? Dan's like, yep, of course he can. I'm like, I can't drive a fucking forklift. But I'm just standing there going, yeah.
Obviously, you know what I say? I will say yes. Yeah. So I'm like, yep. Like, I was, and then so everyone's standing there. I was like, right, it starts Monday. Let's do it. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. And I basically told them when he's starting, and then we left, and we're like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
So
I had this job in this fucking warehouse.
Is this where you said you were driving a forklift and you fucked up and you told them that they're different?
Yeah. So day one, they're like, right. Obviously, you know how, because it's like a metal sheet factory, but the sheets are in like big. They like put them in rolls.
Yeah.
And they're on like these big fucking things. So you have to get the forklift, get it in. And he's like, right, get that fucking roll up the top. And I literally have never used a forklift in my life. So I'm just like, fucking it. And then I'm like, fucking going back and forth. And he's like, he shows me a little bit. And then like, I like sketchily get this thing off and get it down. And he's like, "If you sure you've driven a forklift?" And I'm like, "Mate, they're different in England." I'm like, they turn, the wheels turn on the front.
Oh yeah, that's it. They turn on the back. Don't they? You said,
I was
they turn
like,
on the front.
and he's like, "What?" He said, "Yeah," because he's like, "They turn on the back," and I'm like, "No, they turn on the front in England." I'm like, "It's just different." How
It's just a bog standard JCB fucking
But
forklift.
yeah, I worked in this metal sheet factory, and like,
Did you pick it up after a while?
oh no, it was awful.
Really,
So
yeah.
I had to like snip these metal sheet, like you had to be like very precise on the measurements of where you're bend, because it's like you put them in these machines and it
Folds them over, yeah.
bends all the metal. But like obviously
Yeah.
if you're a bit off, and then when it gets to a job and shit doesn't fit,
Oh my
that was
fucking
me.
God.
Because I was like, basically I had these like big clippers, but I've only got small hands, so I couldn't get my hands on these clippers. So I would always
I'm very
be,
excited about
I'd
that, yeah.
always be slightly off. And then they'd be like, and then I think it was, I don't know, about a month later they ended up getting rid of me because
Yeah.
Just
my
shit.
hands weren't big enough. But I didn't care because I was like,
Yeah.
I got paid like, I don't know,
Good money, right? for
you
the
know,
time.
$3,000 for a month's
Yeah.
work, and
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's just going to last me now for like fucking another 3 months.
Yeah.
It was funny that bit with when we were leaving. Like, if James wouldn't have said, like, "Oh, we'll just check it and phone them," or I'll phone them
Yeah,
back.
you would have got there.
Because we were driving and leaving. Like, because I'm at my missus in Broome.
Oh no way.
So yeah, we met her at the Backpackers, and then obviously, you know,
It was literally like that night as well. So like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the woman said the people are leaving today, but you'll have to come back tomorrow because they want to stay for one more night. So
Yeah, we went back
me and
in.
Dan went back into town, stayed in the Backpackers that
Yeah.
night, and that was the night when Dan met his
yeah,
his
yeah.
other
And then
half.
so, yeah, met her, right, and then obviously we come back. You know, like we got 2 kids together.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
like,
And then
we wouldn't even be sitting
We wouldn't
here.
even sit here. Wouldn't
if
even
it
have
weren't
like
for that decision.
You know, the
yeah.
printer, the
fucking
t-shirts, Hobo Jack,
insane.
like it's all. So literally over one. Just I always remember,
One
like,
decision.
you know, they say like life
Yeah,
can like
of course.
change.
Yeah.
Like just if James would have kept quiet,
and not rang up after
just
you.
not for and just not rang up.
We would have just
Ah.
got.
We just
yeah.
carried on driving. So it's like your whole life can pivot in like literally one word,
Fucking
which is weird,
hell,
isn't it? Yeah,
man.
it's strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is insane.
It's insane.
And here's one more even weirder thing.
Yeah.
Which you guys might not know.
Oh
But-
yeah.
So Rachel was there with her friend that was travelling with her friend. That's Dan's other half.
yeah.
Was with her friend, and that friend was Ben's
Mom.
auntie.
Yeah. But Ben's mom was out
What?
there.
Yeah,
The
and
fuck?
Ben's mum was out there at
Yeah.
the time.
The fuck?
Yeah.
How weird's that?
Mate, I
That's
went as
insane.
well.
What?
We didn't know. Like I say, when
Well, so
Ben was hired here, no one knew. Like,
Didn't know
literally-
that?
Yeah,
I only
didn't know
found this
for
out a few weeks ago because
No way.
Rachel obviously is friends with Chess, and then Chess follows Ben, and then because even Rachel was working here for like, and then yeah, we're all like chatting, and then
way.
I was like, yeah, I was like, Ben follows Chess. Like, that's a bit weird because there's an age difference. It's like, and then Rachel asked Ben, and then we fucking pieced it together. Like, fucking hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I met your mom traveling, but I don't know. Was she out there? When was your mom out there?
Yeah.
And
I think she was out there when you met.
Rach.
Yeah.
But she's in. I mean, that's mental, isn't
That
it?
That is
insane.
fucking
Yeah.
insane.
Proper crazy.
Fucking
Yeah.
small
So
world,
it was
man.
just like, I don't know. I just feel like that whole experience in Broome and that, and all that bad stuff happening, and us, you know, moving around and having to go to different places.
Yeah.
It all was led to just that one moment of, you know, do we
Yeah.
go to the next place? And then we ended up staying there for ages. didn't
Yeah,
we?
yeah. And
then-
like, to anyone watching, like, Broome's fucking such a cool place.
Yeah.
I highly recommend, like, if you're gonna go to Australia, like, definitely go to Broome.
Yeah.
It's and we've got a couple of listeners there as well, randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I say, like this whole thing, without that decision,
Yeah.
it just showed like
Yeah.
I want to get back to like by going travelling, and
Oh, yeah.
although me
Yeah.
and Dan didn't have much money, or you know, it was all random and stuff. Everything that we've got now, like you know, people used to call us the hobos, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
Skin.
you know, just used to travel round, and obviously Dan meeting his other half as well. And it's like that's brought us back here, and then we started up the brand, and it's just everything's led from literally from that moment. So
That's
if you fancy a
insane.
change of life,
Yeah. If you're
Uh,
under 30, I mean, I went as well. I went when I was 30, which is quite old. Like, I had a little bit of money when I went, but I landed in Australia with no money. So you can go. You can go on a shoestring budget.
yeah, if you think that you know you're 30 years old and you're past it, and
Yeah, you're not.
you can like completely restart again.
Yeah. For sure. But as well, if anyone does, if they're thinking about traveling, one thing I'd say, like, I wouldn't recommend going there for $80. Like, take a bit. But like, one thing.
Also, don't overthink it.
Yeah, one thing that will give you a head start if you go with a little bit of money to get yourself like a motor. Get a car out there, and then like then you're flexible. Then you can like
a
car, because most backpackers haven't got a car. So like you're leveling up, and you know like you can like I did a forklift course out there. There's a few little courses you can do it quite cheap, but they'll give you that edge. For work. There's some trades out there that they're crying out for, like barbers. Obviously everything's up in the air at the minute with all the pandemic stuff, but it's a great place.
Yeah. Oh, that's mad. That is fucking brilliant. It sounds just the stories that you get. Like where the fuck, for example, would you get a story where you've been invited to stay at an old lady's house, you open the fucking fridge and there's candy canes
it's
and wine.
insane.
Just shit like that. You just that's fucking. Just to backtrack, because I don't know if you mentioned it. Where the fuck did Maurice go?
Yeah, I was going to say, where's Maurice?
All of a sudden, from the bodyboards onwards, Maurice was gone.
He died.
In the shark-infested waters.
No, he
met a German.
He met
chick.
like a German.
Love drove Maurice away.
Yeah.
It was all a bit.
He went very under the thumb.
Very
quickly.
It was a nice thumb. So understandable. It was a nice looking thumb.
Oh, okay. It was a pretty thumb.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah,
that's fucking brilliant. I'm going to take it to another break because I won't lie to you. I don't know what's wrong with me today, but I need another wee guys. So I do apologise if it's too much information. But yeah, when we return, we'll find out a little bit more about your Australian adventures. I'm really looking forward to it.
Cool, we'll go to a Q&A next. We'll go to Q&A.
APMA. You right? We're back for the final segment. We've heard a lot about the travels of Australia. So me and Loz are just going to throw, we're going to call it the travel gauntlet. It's just going to be some quick fire questions.
I like it.
And then you can tell us your answers. So I'm going to start. What we'll do, Loz, is if we save these two for last, all right? And then we just tick one off that we pick, yeah? So I'm going to start a little bit out there. Did either of you at any point get homesick?
I was missing car boots.
Fucking
so
hell.
much. Because that was like, I mean, before we'd ever started any businesses or anything, that's what I used to do, was go to car boots and buy and sell stuff. But they just didn't have car boots.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have them there. I don't know why, but I thought when I was going to go out there, they would have them there, and that would be my life. I'd just be like this cool car boot kid in like a nice hot sunny country. But they just didn't have them there, and I was like, fuck, I have to literally work for someone else.
Yeah.
And I just hated, even doesn't matter what job I was doing. I love working for myself. So I just hated, I wanted to get back home for car boots, which is mental, isn't it? You're in like the nicest country in the world, like free, but I miss the hustle.
For
me,
no, just got obviously I was 30 odd when I went traveling, but
you loved
from 18. I mean, I joined the army, went to uni, did contracts for American Army, so I spent a lot of time traveling loads of different places like around the world and that. So
he's fucked up.
I don't know what's going on here. How'd you do this?
The mic stand is full.
Yeah, it looks weird.
How does it?
Don't know. It's usually a bit. Yeah, you fucked it.
It's a bit more taut.
What's happened though?
Don't know.
For the audio listeners, Jimmy's mic stand is fucked.
I think you need to go down and up. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's what's funny.
That's
keep it in
keep
bed.
It in, mate.
Don't
keep
worry
it in.
about it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't want to fucking come near me.
You have to hold it. I think you have to hold the mic.
There we go.
Oh, nice. There we go. We fixed it. Excellent. So neither of you homesick?
No, I'm definitely not.
That's probably nice for some people to hear, because it's probably something that some people worry about, like being the other side of the world and that. But you're that focused on survival.
Yeah.
That's the. We didn't really it was just
day to day for us.
Did you call home much?
I didn't, again, because I probably would more now, I guess, being older. But I hardly ever called home. I'd go to like a month or two without speaking to my parents, whatever. But I'm 30 when I was doing that, and they'd been used to that through like the army, all different things. So like for me, I love traveling and new experiences and stuff. So I
had MSN.
I loved that.
MSN. Nice,
I had
MSN.
I had like my mum on
Back in the
MSN.
day.
I think people would like if you go and traveling away. You're a bit younger.
Nudge people.
You would. Like anything. But
my mum used to because my mum used to like come onto MSN, and she used to just put like, obviously you have like laugh out loud.
Yeah.
She used to just put LO as in like hello, but L.
Oh,
and I was like, that's brilliant. I was like, fair play. Like, she'd be like, that's what she thought it was. Like, hello.
Hello.
Why are you saying hello every time I say something funny?
Brilliant.
Oh, you missed on the break. You're saying about phone calls. Like I was saying to Lozzy, I was at work in Broome, and I had a phone call off James. So everyone was down the beach. James phoned me, and I was like, "Yeah, mate." It's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Rachel's been stung by a jellyfish." I was like, "Oh, right, fuck." I was like, "She all right?" He's like, "Nah, mate, she's dead."
What?
And then held it for about 20 seconds. I was like, what? It was like, I've been with her for like a couple of months. I was like, no, I'm only joking, mate. She's been stung by a jellyfish, but she...
We was all down the beach, obviously, just like having a few drinks and that. So I was just in like a funny mood. Not that it's funny, but I just like... Rachel was like, oh, ring Dan, tell him I've been stung by a jellyfish or whatever. So I like phoned him up, and I was like... I don't know, just as he was like...
build on that.
As Dan was like, is she alright? Just the first thing that popped into my head is like... I might just tell him that she's died. Just see what it says.
But just hold it.
I won't go home to her car boots that bad.
Yeah. And he was like, what? And I just like held it just to see each other's reaction. And he's like, James? And I was like, nah. I was like,
she did get a nasty sting though from him.
Fucking hell, man.
But she didn't die.
pretty sure did someone piss on her? Probably not. I don't know whether I'm mixing up Friends or
reality.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads nicely into the question I'm going to ask is about insects. Stuff that could kill you.
Yeah. I got a couple.
Any
Animals
stories?
and insects.
I got an animal story. I remember lying on the beach once and just lying there sunbathing, chilling out, and this fucking looking at the sea, like daydreaming, and this fucking mouse just comes full pelt, zooming on the sand towards the sea, and I was like, "What the fuck? What's he doing? Like, is he had enough trying to like do one? He's just burning towards the sea." And my mind, I couldn't like comprehend what was going on. And then like a few seconds later, just this fucking snake, mate.
Oh wow!
Got on the sand.
Jesus.
Mouse had no chance. I caught up with him and then jumped on him, and then like. Obviously, it's nature, innit? You don't do anything. But and everyone just gathered round and just watched the snake just fucking take. But I did feel bad because like he took him tail first, and like you just saw him. So you kind of want to intervene, but then like it's just nature.
You can't really.
So and then a few spiders and stuff like that. But
that's what would worry me.
They usually hide under stuff. Like it's not like. Yeah.
Don't you have to get into a habit of banging your shoes, or is that a myth?
Because when we lived on the mango farm, that was like we lived in a tent. Yeah. So like
loads of creepy
anything. Yeah, you're just in a tent so you have to be really careful of like what you zip up your tent all the time. Yeah. When we would walk from like one area to the other area on the evening, they tell you to stamp your feet. So like obviously you warn if there's a snake or something. If you crept up and then stepped on it and then it bit you, whereas if you stamp, it like lets it know that you're coming, so it fucks off before you get there.
Yeah.
But usually it's like they'll be under something, so it's like if you go around lifting up pots around to like find a spider or something, but it's very rare that you just
they're usually more scared of you. I got done by a millipede. I think I said before, but like I was so hungover that I don't think it did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You thought it got.
You definitely poisoned that.
He died.
He bit you, man.
I think I've got a picture of that.
Jägermeister.
I'll try and get that up. I'm trying to think if we anything else got stung.
The red. Is it the redback?
Redback. I saw loads of them.
That's what I mean. They're like if you go on like deadly animals on like Google, the redback's like the one that like people who are not from Australia are like fucking hell. don't watch out for the redbacks. 'Cause
Yeah.
don't they like bite you and then you can literally die by getting
Yeah.
bit by a thing.
Fucking hell.
The Australians don't.
Fucking hell.
Mate, I used to work in a nursery, like, and there'd be fucking loads of them.
The Australians don't give a fuck about
Yeah.
them. They're
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like, they're so like.
But they're scared of you. They won't unless you literally put your hand on top of it. It ain't gonna bite you.
But I remember
Yeah.
they were like, oh, I was talking about them like about a week after I'd got to because I'm quite scared of insects and shit, and I was just talking to this Australian guy, and he's like, mate, there's one in the fucking bush over there,
Yeah.
like, in the pub, like there's one in the fucking thing, and like I literally went over there, and he's like, there's one in there at the moment. And there's a fucking redback in there, and I'm like,
Fuck.
you'd think get rid of it if it's this most put, but they just don't.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I saw, honestly, when I worked in that nursery, I had to move the plant pots and stuff and all. Like, I remember first seeing one, I shit myself. But like, you pick it up and there'd be one in there. Like, you see loads of them. Like, unless say, like any spider, unless you.
Like I said, most spiders
Spiders are
can
scared.
bite you,
Fuck
can't they?
with
as well?
it, yeah.
But
They don't want them.
they just don't. Yeah, so not really. Didn't see that much.
No, not as.
I didn't know that they had saltwater crocs. I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah.
And I remember one day I went down to the beach in Broome and they'd shut the beach off.
Yeah.
And there's this just big fuck off crocodile in the sea, like on the waves.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't even know they could go in the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do shut the
fucking
beaches down
bodyboard.
because of there's some. I remember that happened when we were travelling up towards Darwin. We were at this like campsite, and we'd been like swimming about in this little like lagoon, yeah. And then they were like, "Oh, there's one in there. He's come down," and that was like the last point, and he's in there. He's fucking huge, like huge one that's in there, and you're like, "Fucking hell." You jump in for like a bit of banter.
That's the thing, because you don't like when you're just traveling and that they're just used to it. They know that you don't go in however nice something looks. They're like you have to check it before you go in.
Yeah.
Whereas we're just fucking stupid fuckers, isn't we? We're like, oh, look at that lovely little lake. You can go for a dip and whatever. And it's like,
I remember me and my missus like, at that same place. We went up. It's like a massive like hill, loads of rocks and stuff. And we went up, and we went to the top. And we're sitting up there, like I think we had a bottle of wine at the top, and we're like taking pictures and stuff. And then it started getting like the sun was going down, so we're like, oh, we'll walk down. And as we started to come back down, we looked up, and where we were sitting like for about half an hour, like taking those pictures and just chilling out, it was fucking a big rock, like just on the edge. And it could have easily just come off, and we would have died. Like, but we're just sitting on there, like you just don't.
Yeah.
You don't, and you look back up, you're like, oh shit, like that's fucking really dangerous.
Jesus Christ. Well, I am going to ask something that I think you've already answered it with the mango place. But was there a life-changing moment other than that? Was there anything that stood out to you?
life-changing moment, broski.
Oh, right. Life-changing moment. Nothing sticks out that, like I said, people go out to find themselves. And I didn't have anything in particular, but just the whole process of it. I think running out of money multiple times, having nothing, and then getting through that, it kind of installs in you that like you can get through stuff.
Yeah.
We've been in some sticky situations where you're like, you worry, don't you, about money all the time? I'm sure everyone's got money worries, but like, your survival mode kicks in, and like it's amazing what you can achieve when you've literally got nothing. So for me,
it is mad, isn't it? Yeah.
And
that's why I think people overthink stuff. I think sometimes you can just get put in a situation like, at the end of the day, you're a human. Like you're born to survive. Like, like you can worry about stuff, but you'll get through it.
We're quite resourceful. So that's nice to know you got that in your back burner.
I think for me, I remember a moment where I was like, it made me think about home, and I was like, I think we was obviously because you meet people when you're traveling. Like, we obviously had loads of like English friends out there and stuff, and like we were in like a bar, all watching like the World Cup. I think it was like the South Africa World Cup. And just like, I remember just feeling really happy, and I was like, I'm in a bar with a load of English people, and I'm really happy, and I'm like, this is basically home. What I've done is I've come all the way to the other side of the world, to do what I would do exactly back home. And I just remember sitting there, like, everyone's like just watching everyone talking and that, and I was like, just thinking like it isn't actually about where you are. It's about like who you're with. It doesn't, you don't need to be in Australia to sort of.
No.
But I just think I think the thing is with that is when you go traveling, you're in the frame of mind of sort of, I don't know, like you go out more and you're more like, what's the word, like free spirited, I suppose.
Yeah, open minded.
And
as well,
back home, you'd never be like, oh, let's go down, just chill down the beach, and some people do, but I'm just saying, like, majority of English people are like, right, finish school, go to college, get a job, and they just get in this fucking circle. It's like there's so much beautiful stuff around, even in England. It doesn't, but because you're in Australia, you're like, you make the most of it. Whereas you can do the same thing back here, but we don't.
And
it's like we go traveling to find ourselves, but you can find. You what you'll find is you'll find it's back here. Like,
100%.
The thing you're looking for is actually back home.
Yeah.
It's not Australia that you're looking for. It's just figuring out yourself spiritually.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the same boat as well, so it's like, back home you might not just go into like chat to a random person, but when you're traveling, like all your walls are down, you don't know anybody, there's nothing to protect, there's nothing to pretend to, like you just chat with everyone and everyone's the same back as well. So
but even here, that's exactly the same. Like you would, like, if you go out and like, I don't know, say you ain't got many friends, like go out and talk to people, you'll get friends quick. Or, go and do stuff, and like that you can. It's not just because you're traveling that you'll find. That's just, it puts you in that frame of mind that you can do it there because you're like, oh, I'm traveling. But like,
and I think as well, I went traveling on my own. So I think people worry about going traveling on their own. Like it can. I'd done a lot of stuff on my own pre-traveling, but it's still, still a bit worried. Like, I'm going on my own, but it's surprising how quick you meet people. Lots of people in the same boat. You can just go and chat to someone at the bar, and like it's, you don't have to. If anyone's like thinking about going traveling on their own, like I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Just be careful, obviously.
Just get yourself a Maurice.
But you soon meet people in the same boat. But I say life changing. Obviously, it did change my life when I met my missus. And we said earlier about all
changed mine as well, because obviously we're in business together and stuff, and it's like everything has happened because of that journey. Like we would not be here without it. So.
It's weird because we can even include ourselves, because you got to think like your decision to call the boss. Somehow years down the line affected two lads who lived on the East Coast. Like how the ripple effect is fucking insane, isn't it?
The ripple effect of life is insane.
Yeah.
Like
that one decision somehow affected mine and Lozzy's life in fucking Bradwell, 100 miles away from where you.
That's probably me just being a bit hungover and a bit anxious, and like maybe we should just call.
Fucking nuts.
I always think,
and I really remember that moment. Like me and Dan was at because it was at a phone box, and it was like I remember there was like a board with all like stuff pinned.
Yeah.
And it was in like this car park of like, I think there's like a Pizza Hut and a McDonald's, and I just remember that remember Dan like picking up the phone. It's just like a movie scene, really.
But I always, when you say about ripples, I always think about, obviously, like we created Hobo Jack clothing and the t-shirts, and I think of all the t-shirts going out to people, and then because I've had so many people like messaging about little stories when they've been on a night out and someone said about their t-shirt, or like they've met their missus through a t-shirt or a conversation. It's like all these little little stories have branched off from a t-shirt, and it's like if that one phone call, you take that away, say there's no Hobo Jack, or these t-shirts never went out, all those little stories that come off the back of those t-shirts.
100%.
Like, it's weird, isn't it? The ripples.
The effect you can have is mental. Insane.
You might be sitting there watching a good podcast.
Savage. Yeah. That is the ripple effect is fucking, it's baffling. The butterfly effect.
Yeah.
But you create that. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You just got to, like, in life, just fucking get out there and do shit, man. Like, just whatever it is. Don't waste it.
Yeah. Don't get bogged down by the past. Just fucking move forward.
I think what I'll do now. Oh, my fucking voice went out. What we'll do what we'll do is we'll ask you what's your best and worst person you met each.
You don't have to specifically name them if you don't want to.
I've got one that really
describe them.
One that really annoyed me.
I don't know.
My
my missus.
Go on, I'll let you.
I'm only joking. No, so there was. I had to get back to. I'd gone to Perth. I was there like a couple of days, and I had to get back to Adelaide and then to Mildura. So, like in Australia, like I say about the boards, lots of people, if you're skint, which most backpackers are, you put out little tags that you can go and grab, and it's a phone number, and it's like, I'm driving from Perth to Adelaide or whatever, and you just all chip in, and it's like you split the fuel and the food, and you know, and you go on this little journey with random people you don't know. So I'd got a little slip, got a number, I'd phone this girl, and she's like, yeah, there's going to be 4 of us. There was like there was an Australian guy who had the truck who she'd organised. He was a prospector, so he just drove around Australia going to gold site, like had a hat, big truck, like funny lad. Another German guy, and then her, and she was like the orchestrator. And so we met up and stuff. Everyone was sound, and then she's like, right, so I'm in control of everything. I'm running it all. Which I was already a bit like, you know, we're backpacking. Like, shut up. We want to chill. She's like, right, here's the budget. It's going to cover the fuel, the food. Everything. So we all give her the money for the whole trip for like 4 days. And then, so we give her the money. She's all done. And she's like, oh, and I'm a vegan. Oh, fuck. I'm like, okay, that's, and she, so.
Yeah.
But
why should that affect anyone else?
I'm only buying vegan food.
Oh.
And the other lad was like, yeah, I'm you know, he's kind of like that, and the other guy was like, cool. So, and I was like, fuck. So I mean, this was 2000.
This was pre-vegan.
Yeah.
So like,
I didn't know vegans existed.
So I was like, okay, like fucking hell, like I'm going 4 days with this, and then the whole trip got more like, she just became more and more like, she was very controlling. Like, she controlled everything. She got all the food.
That's unusual of vegans.
Yeah, and so she got tofu.
She was one of the first.
And like,
they're not like they used to be.
I was like, I remember, I was like, obviously I had no fuck all money. Like, surprise. And I was like, can we get some chocolate? And so, oh no. Like, she was like, I'm going all healthy, and she got all this stuff, and it was fucking horrible. We had tofu, but like, whatever it was, I've had tofu after this, and it tastes all right. This tofu in 2010 was shit. It tastes like rubber, and I couldn't even eat it. I mean, I lost weight on that trip on the 4 days. I just remembered, and I had to like, I mean, she was like Britney Spears' dad. That's like, ask for food, you know. She controlled the whole trip, and it was just miserable for 4 days driving from like Perth to Adelaide. So, yeah, if you're watching,
fuck you,
go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
can't remember her name. I think I've got a picture somewhere, but
Karen.
But, the start of the Karens.
Dear, oh dear. That's fucking.
And I'll see. What was the best person you had?
Yeah.
Best, worst.
Gotta say, my missus.
It's a safe bet.
Yeah. Amazing.
Do you know who? I'll tell you.
Maurice.
You probably forget this guy. So the night when you met Rachel.
Oh, the legend.
This is the legend, right? So
the legend.
Me and Dan go into the backpackers, and there's this like fucking cool. He's just cool as fuck, wasn't he? Just looked cool as fuck, and he's sitting at the bar. Straight away, he comes in. We come in, and he's like, "Yeah, boys, what's going on? Come and take a seat with me, right?" And we're like, "Oh, legend!" Like, I think he even got some beers, beers, and we were like, "What's your name?" He's like, "I'm Jesus, man." Right? He's like, "I'm Jesus, man," and he's like, coolest dude you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right, and anyway, like another lad comes in and like sits down with us and is chatting, and we think that Jesus and this other lad who we ended up getting good friends with called Adam, we thought that Jesus was his friend. So then like it's me, Jesus, Adam and Dan sitting there at the bar, and then like over on a table is Dan's girlfriend, all her friends and stuff, and then Jesus is like, let's go over and sit with the girls and whatever. So like we all end up going over. Jesus fucking sorts everything out, right? We're sitting over there, we're playing a game, right? Playing, you know that game where you stick the thing on your head, you write a name and then you have to guess who you are. And like we had a fucking class night. Me and Dan ended up going back to the mango farm.
Yeah. That was the first night, wasn't it?
Yeah, and like we never see Jesus again. And so after obviously me and Dan was on the mango farm, we ended up getting jobs, and then we ended up going back into the town, and then we ended up living in that backpackers where Dan obviously built his relationship with Rachel and stuff. And we were like, I'm like, where's fucking Jesus, man? And everyone's like, oh, we thought he was with you. And then like I say to Adam, because I was like, it's him and Adam, and I was like, where's Jesus? And he's like, oh, I thought he was your mate. What? And Rachel and everyone were like, we thought he was your friend. Yeah. And like to this day, no one knows who this fucking Jesus guy is. But we went in and he sorted everything out, placed us there. Never seen him again.
And my missus is not religious.
And just like, do you know what I mean? Like
Jesus hooked us up.
And I've never seen like no one knew him. Even because I got friends with the people who worked at the backpackers.
Forgot about
no one knew about Jesus, and it's just this fucking guy, and he was just the legend.
He was a legend.
Yeah, he was a legend, and he sorted everything out. We're here because of him, basically.
No way, because of Jesus.
You are one of the disciples. Well, two of the disciples.
Yeah, exactly. And like
of the cool Jesus.
Yeah, so that was
James used to say when we meet people, they're like, "Hey, do you two know each other?" And James would say, "His mum slept with my dad."
Yeah, it was. I'd say a lot. It was worse than that. I'd be like, I'd be like, yeah, his dad's banging my mum. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we're brothers. Every time people, like, whenever we meet people, they're like, that's so weird that you're travelling together.
Yeah. what a weird relationship.
It's a really good way of saying that you're brothers.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking brilliant. Well, we'll finish today with 2 more questions. So rather than best and worst person, what is the best and worst moment of your time in Australia? Start with the worst, finish with the best.
Oh, a pretty bad moment was then I was with Rach. We'd been drinking in the tent, and we had a barbecue, and we were hammered, and like we had this horrible tent. But we were doing something. She'd slipped, but she landed on the barbecue, and she fucking burnt and like we were in the outback as well, so like proper middle of nowhere. And she burnt all her side, and we didn't kind of realise how bad it was till kind of the next morning, and then stops in the tent and stuff, and then we had to go to like find a hospital in the middle of nowhere, and so obviously we're living in the back of a car, and then she had to have these like patches on, and that was pretty grim for a couple of weeks. Actually, she had to do that. Living out the back of a car in that heat, like I remember I had a razor in the back of the car, plastic razor, it melted.
Oh my!
Like, it was that. We drove to like live in the outback for about 2 weeks in the car, which like still struck. We'd got given a load of food and a load of like tuna, but I can't even say it. Like flavoured tuna, like chili tuna. You know, they do that, don't they? But it all heated up in the car. But we didn't have any other food, and I ate this like hot tuna, and I was sick. So like to try and then we just drank this like warm gin. We did a bottle of gin each between us, me and Rach, and then like it was just like it was just grim. It was horrible. Yeah, not a nice experience.
Fucking hell, that is a pretty bad experience.
Well, is that your worst moment?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm
not saying that. Well, I'm just like, it's fucking.
Is that all you got?
Is that all you got? No, I just like that's
Yeah, that's the worst moment traveling.
What about you, Jimmy?
I think the moment which I was like, I need to get home was like, I remember we was in the backpackers in Broome, and I was like fucking just drinking with this guy, and like I think I didn't have a job, and I was like needed some work. And he was like, man, just get up tomorrow morning. He's like, I'm going to work on the mines. You do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. And he's like, you earn there's so much money. Yeah, and I was like, this is the bollocks, mate. I was like, I can fucking go away, just do 2 weeks with him, earn like $4,000 or whatever, come back. It was like a lot of money. And he bigged this thing up. And he's like, mate, meet me downstairs in the morning. I'll take you along. Like, he'd meet me at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever. And he's like, oh, come with me. And like, literally remember like, going to bed, I was like, I was fucking buzzing, mate. Like, and then like I woke up the next day, like got down there at like 6 a.m. and like I was like, I can't remember his name. And I was like, where is he? And they're like, yeah, he's gone. And I was like, what? I can't. Yeah, fucked off. And I was just like, fuck this, I'm going home. I hated because I could always just go out and earn money myself here. People saying stuff, and I just remember that just being like, I was like, I'm done now. I can't. I hated.
I remember that time, and around the time there was another lad. Can't remember his name. Tall lad who was a chef, and like he was looking for work as a chef, and he come back one night.
I got him the job.
Did you get him the job?
Yeah, I got him the job.
Yeah, mate, he got this job on a fucking private boat with a helicopter.
It's funny, he actually links to one of my favourite moments.
Oh, really? Mate, when he come in singing that song.
Oh, mate, so good.
But he got this job, and it was like they'd take like clients out who like minted, and they would go all through what's it called? There's this kind of, I can't remember.
It's where they filmed Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah, but like loads of ravines and stuff, and then it's got like mountains.
It's like this famous river that goes through the outback. It's like the most beautiful river.
So take this beautiful boat, and he was a chef on there, and he's like, you do a bit of cooking, and then he was like, one bit we'd take him out on like the jet skis, and then we'd do some fishing, get these really big fish. Then we'd fly in a helicopter onto this like mountain point where they set up a barbecue. And then they would have the barbecue on there.
Oh my god!
Mate. So it's like, and they've got like they fly a helicopter onto the top of there. They've got a barbecue set up, and they just, as the sun goes down, they're just up there with like. And these the guys on the boat are paying like $25,000-$30,000 for the trip.
Yeah,
minted, and so he was getting loads of money, and he's like, I do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. On his 2 weeks off, like he gets to stop in a house that's all paid for, and like I'm like, fucking hell, like, do you know what I mean? We're really backpacking, and like, he's just landed this dream, and he did that for years, didn't he?
It's funny because it was through, I'd winged this job in this restaurant, and I obviously wasn't up to standard. I was like pretended that I was a chef and stuff, and like basically I left it, and then I remember the day he arrived, because he was just a legend, wasn't he?
He was a legend. He's a nice guy.
And I was like, mate, just go for that job I was doing. And then like he ended up going there, and then it was the guy who owned that company owned the fucking food company on the ship, and then he ended up just going through that. So could have been me. No, I'm joking. But no, it was never going to be me, but it was going to be him. Do you know what I mean? It is. But
the story of him though.
Oh mate, that was fucking class, mate. So like, me and Dan are just both in bed one night, and I think it was his first night.
He'd been out drinking.
I think he'd like finished work. He'd finished work, and he was just buzzing, and then he would just come. What song was it?
You could hear it. It was
so like, basically, it was like that was.
You could just hear it.
We were in both in bed in bed asleep. To the place where we can get, and it's like building up for like minutes, and then it's like love shack, and you can hear him like down the road like coming on, but we don't know it's him. He's staying in our room, but like we don't, it could be anyone.
Oh fucking hell.
And then it's like love shack and then he like comes through the door of the downstairs, and you're like love, and I'm like, who is this fucking legend singing Love Shack? And he's like, we can get together, and then like our door just boots through, and he's like Love Shack, and he just comes in, right, everyone's waking up, right, and he's just walking in, right, he's off his nut, right, little place where, and he just comes in, opens up his locker, grabs a bottle of wine, and then he just fucking straight back out the door. Love Shack is a little... And then it just gets quieter and quieter and quieter down the road. And we were just, that is the best moment of my life. Like, I've never...
Just wind everyone up.
Yeah, and then like he'd come back the next day, and I was like, what the fuck happened? He was like, oh man, he was like, I met this bird at the bar, and she was like, oh, come back to my place. And he's like, oh, I've got a bottle of wine, I go and get my bottle of wine. And he was like, in my head I just kept thinking I'm going to the Love Shack. And he was like, Love Shack. So the whole time all he's thinking is, I'm going back to this woman's fucking Love Shack. And he's just got it in his head, and he's going to get his bottle of wine, and he's just absolutely buzzing.
Legend.
Big up Andy.
Gotta do a Love Shack t-shirt now.
It just that song, every time I hear it I just think of him.
I do remember that.
Just singing.
That's your best. That's one of your best moments, yeah.
Oh mate, it was it was like just because Dan experienced it as well, and like we always talk about.
It was like the build up and timing was like.
Yeah, it was like a comical moment. Like it weren't obviously you see like beautiful stuff in Australia.
Yeah.
But that was just.
It was
like,
so fun.
I just remember looking over, going like as he left and walked out of the room, I looked over it down. I was like, he's just a fucking legend.
That's brilliant. What about you, Dan? What was your best moment?
That.
Yeah, it was.
It was so funny.
Oh, amazing.
Mate, just the whole thing, really. Like I say, you know, I'm meeting my missus out there. Like loads of fun experiences. I want to go travelling now. Got the bug.
Well, that was the idea behind this podcast for everyone at home who's thinking about it or have thought about it or want to do it. And obviously can't at the moment in the circumstances because of all the travel bans here, there and everywhere. I just thought everyone can kind of imagine through your guys' experiences.
Yeah. Just, I mean, if you ever get the opportunity, just take it. Like, at the end of the day, like,
You'll be back.
yeah, you know, we work, like, you work like a huge percent of your life. Like, do you know what I mean? You look back on traveling like a year or two, and I can remember all those moments.
Yeah.
You know, you look back at a year working, and
all I see is just a Pets at Home uniform.
Yeah. I'm thinking how many times I'm saying here. I know I'm going to annoy that guy in the comments.
Oh, I remembered what it was. You know, I said, what's the campus special? I was like, he says that really strange. It's how you say Argos.
Argos.
You say Argos. You say Argus.
Argus.
Argus. You're like, I got this sleeping bag from Argus.
Argus. Hey, say it.
Argos.
Argos.
Yeah. Mate, I've got some funny sayings.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's fucking cool.
I'm common as well, and so I've got all the. I say bath. Not
bath. Nah, not bath.
Yeah, have a bath.
But I say bath. I say have a bath. No, I say have a bath. No, I say bath.
Yeah, I say bath.
Yeah.
Grass.
Yeah, but you don't call it APMA, do you?
No. That's the Tory. That's the Tory version.
APMA.
Don't touch the APMA.
Up the APMA.
Yeah, if you call it APMA, you're not allowed in.
Yeah.
That's it. On your gabion. That was fucking brilliant, boys. Thank you for taking us down memory lane there.
That's good, man.
For your Australia trip.
I kind of just blacked out for that whole thing, and I feel like I wasn't even in the room.
You were just
You did
there.
Love Shack.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's
Love
brilliant.
Shack. Legend, man.
So you would definitely recommend just
Million
going
percent.
for it.
Oh, mate, yeah.
Million
Like,
percent.
Like I say, it changed our life.
Yeah.
We didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
And I don't think you do know when you go travelling and do these things. You don't realise at the time that you're becoming a different person or whatever, but it does change your life. So
Yeah. Fantastic.
fucking go for it, guys.
Brilliant. I think that's a really nice note to end it on. So, thank you for listening, guys,
Thank
or
you.
watching. And we will see you very soon up the app.
Up the APMA.
Ah.